Hi all, welcome to my channel. I'm Will Wyvern. Today I want to talk about something that has been on my mind the past few weeks. People have been arguing, debating, discussing, what do you call a male witch? Before I go any further, these are my thoughts, my beliefs, my opinions. I share with you so you can make your own decision on what you want to think, what you want to believe, what you want to incorporate into your practice. Now, it started probably a couple months ago. People were arguing, what is a male witch? What do you call a male witch? And one of the ways it started, someone came into a room and announced himself as a warlock. And some people were like, there's no such thing as a warlock. If you're a male witch, you're called a witch like everybody else. And other people were arguing, saying, no, you can be a warlock, you could be a wizard, you can be a sorcerer, you can be whatever you want to call yourself. And that goes back to something I've talked about in almost every video. There is no Wiccan Bible that sets the guidelines and the rules and all the definitions for every practicing Wicca. There are some Wiccans who don't like the term witch. They announce themselves or they identify as a Wiccan or a pagan or a heathen, and they do not like the term witch. So the term witch is used by people who want to be called a witch. I like the term witch for men and women, but when I was overseas, and brief history, I'm retired Air Force. I was in the military for 20 plus years, and 16 of my 20 years were spent overseas in the Pacific Basin, in Europe, in Central America. So I've been all over the world. And as I've traveled, I've met witches, Wiccans, pagans, heathens from all over the world. And when I was in Korea, the word for witch or someone who practices witchcraft is Mineo. And that literally means a woman who speaks with spirits, or a woman who heals with herbs, or a woman who, it's a woman, it's a female. So the first time I was in Korea, I said, well, how do you say witch? And someone said, Menyo. And I'm like, okay, I'm a Menyo. And they laughed at me and they said, no, that's a woman. And there was no term for a male witch. There are people who believe men can never be a witch. They believe a witch is specific to a female, to someone who has a womb, can create life, who menstruates, has a cycle. That's what they believe. They believe you have to be female to be called a witch. Like I said, there's no rule book. There's no guidelines. There's nothing written down that says to be called a witch, you must do this. Anybody can call themselves whatever they want. It's up to us as individuals. Do we choose to respect that? Do we choose to accept that? So if somebody walks into a room and it's a dude and he says, hey everyone, I'm Warlock, John Smith. Nobody should stand up and say, there's no such thing as a warlock. You're a witch. If you practice Wicca, you're a witch. No, everyone should say, hello Warlock John Smith. If you want to say something, the way to address it, you can say, hey, I was always taught that men witches are called witches. Why do you call yourself a warlock? How were you taught, what's the background behind that? Never tell somebody they're wrong. Never tell somebody you're right and they're wrong. Never tell someone that your belief is better than their belief. Whatever they want to call themselves, they can call themselves. When we choose to practice, we are practicing Wiccan, pagan, heathen, whatever terminology you want to use. We're not practicing the mainstream Christian, Muslim, Buddhist. We're not practicing mainstream religion. We're practicing a religion, a belief system that is that's away from the mainstream. If we want to call ourselves witches, we can. If we want to call ourselves warlocks, wizards, sorcerers, shaman is a term that I like. Shaman. That it has different connotations. It means different things. But shaman is a masculine sounding name, and that works. People accept that. Now, in today's day and age, a lot of people accept that these words are all gender neutral. You can be a male shaman, you can be a female shaman. You can be a male witch, you can be a female witch. Whatever. I've seen it several times these past few weeks. People have argued that they're right and other people are wrong. And it hurts my heart when I see people who are Wiccan, pagan, heathen, telling people that their belief is wrong, that their belief is the incorrect one. Wars have started. Millions of people have died over terminology, over the definition of a word. And as Wiccans, pagans, heathens, we should know better than anyone not to argue our beliefs with other people. We should know better than anyone not to try to push our beliefs onto someone else. And that's why I said these are my beliefs, my thoughts, and my opinions. I'm not trying to convince you to believe what I believe. I'm just sharing my belief with you. And I am telling you that nobody has the right to tell someone else they're wrong, because there is no written in stone guidelines or rules that we follow. I actually saw someone comment that they saw a meme on Facebook that says men witches are called witches, and that was how they backed up their argument. Really? You saw something on Facebook and that's what you're basing your belief system on? I saw it on Facebook, so it has to be true. If you want to believe that, fine. If you want to believe that Facebook generates the truth and the rules and the guidelines for the Wiccan belief system, knock yourself out. All I'm saying is, if you choose to believe it, that's your belief. Don't try to push that belief on somebody else. I've known people who have practiced Wicca for 20, 30 years, and they hate the word witch. If you see them doing something and you're like, oh, I'm a fellow witch, they'll bite your head off. They'll be like, great, you're a witch. I'm not a witch. I practice Wiccan, and that's what I am. I'm a Wiccan. I'm not a witch. Don't call me a witch. That's offensive. So the answer to what do you call a male witch? Whatever the hell they want to be called. Respect the other person. Respect their beliefs. You don't have to agree with their beliefs, but just respect their beliefs. If someone comes in and says, well, I've been a wizard for 12 years, don't laugh in their face and say, there's no such thing as a wizard. That's stupid. That's in cartoons. Just say, cool. That's, I've never heard that term wizard used before for, someone who practices Wicca, but that's interesting. How did you come up, how did you get that belief that wizard is a, accepted term? I want to learn. I want to have that knowledge. That's all I got to say. Be open. Don't stifle or don't shut up somebody else. Learn. Ask them to share their beliefs with you. You don't have to believe their beliefs. Ask them to share, respect their beliefs, and this world will be a better place. I can't believe I'm having to talk about this with fellow, Wiccans, pagans, heathens, because we should know better than anyone. So all I'm saying, if you come across me and you see, and you're like, hey, Will, what are you? Are you a witch? Are you Wiccan, pagan, whatever? Whatever I say I am, just say, cool. I respect that. and use that terminology when you're addressing me. Don't tell me I'm wrong. Don't tell me I'm stupid. Don't tell me I'm mistaken. That's my belief system. That's what I think. That's what my views are. Respect everyone. This will be a much happier, a much more beautiful world. So, y'all have a great day. Y'all have a great night. As always, thank you for watching, and blessings.